evening, folks, and welcome to Cooking with Dan Leslie. My name is Janet Rappisardi-Hoff. I'll be your host this evening in Dan's hot, sweltering kitchen. It's hot today.
Brutal, huh?
Brutal.
Yeah, we're in the midst of one of these 4-day weather things.
Thing.
Sweating here like a stuck pig, I'm telling you. Boy, doesn't Janet look lovely today, huh? Little summer wear, looking just peachy. I got my little fruit cup shorts on.
I know, I love that color.
Right.
Color's good. I'm
Right.
coming in with shorts next time, Dan.
I'm wearing a mesh leather metallic thong matching.
Ooh.
What are we going to wheel today, huh?
You know, it doesn't look like much here. Clams.
I know.
Clams is good for the summer, but
Clams
you
is good,
gotta
right?
tell me
Yeah.
red potatoes.
Right,
good.
that's
I
it. Why
like
don't we check that out?
Let's take a look at those.
Right, we roasted some bee potatoes, not the big glommers. These red skin potatoes, we roasted them off. They're kind of supple. You can tell they're cooked all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this a couple of times down in Florida with a few of my boys, and I just wanted to do it on screen for Neil and Johnny and the boys. What we did do is we roasted the potatoes ahead of time. We didn't bring them out under the gun. And we just kept them at room temperature, kept them slightly warm. This is what I just think it's a terrific thing to do. We put a little bit of oil on a sheet pan, cut them in half. The potatoes are about yay big when we started. We got the smaller ones. They're called bee potatoes, right? You get a bunch of these that come in there with it. You can either boil them or smash them and toss them with some butter and cream, or just eat them, just plain boiled. But I like to weed these out.
Small,
right? Right. You want to get them where they're cooking evenly. But so what we did is we just baked them off at about 400 degrees, and we browned them up. That's the key. I like them nice and brown, a little bit crispy. In fact, I could have even kicked them a little bit harder. So what we're going to do to finish them, whether you were cooking a roast or burgers, I don't care what you were doing, you have them ready in maybe a china or a plastic bowl. And while we're going to add a little garlic and oil to these. Ooh. And while you're getting ready to serve them, you just put them in the radar.
Oh, really?
Just put them back in the radar. You could twice heat them, but I think having these radars is a terrific thing for something like this. I'm not big on putting too many things in a radar, but something like this, you can really get away with it, and it helps you under the gun in the kitchen. You've cleaned your mess up from the oven and the pan and that sort of thing, and something like this can be produced pretty easily. So what we're going to do, I guess, is get a pan on. Put it over there. I'll put a pan on, and what we're going to do is get a little garlic going with some olive oil. So I'll put the pan on. I want to put the olive oil, nice flavorful oil. I want to put that in as late as possible. I don't want to just cook it out and break the oil down, the viscosity down. So what I'm going to do now with this garlic, so what we have here is some garlic that we pureed. We're going to add this to a certain dish, and it's going to disappear into the dish. What I don't like doing...
magic.
Right. We just put it through the food processor. What I do like to do is cut these little slivers of garlic that they're about this wide. And if you cook them light brown enough, you can just eat them like potato chips. They're terrific, What I don't like to do, however, is, I'm sure there's somebody's going to call me and tell me there's a dish you can do. I don't like taking it and crushing it like that.
Oh, no.
And then cutting it. I feel like you're knocking the oils out of it, and, you're losing the integrity of the clove. The oil's bursting out the side. And when you cook it like this, a lot of times it gets very gummy and chewy. This other way, when you slice it long ways, it just seems like you can get it crispy, and it's got all of its flavors and oils in there. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just do one more here. You get the picture. I would normally add double this amount of garlic, but that's just me.
It's funny, that reminds me when we were in Arizona, they said, well, Arizona is a dry heat, so it's not as bad as what? Well, when it's 120 degrees.
120 is 120, right?
120 is 120. Doesn't matter whether it's humid.
One thing I wanted to mention is when you do these potatoes and take them out early, you don't have to take them out earlier, it's just what I choose to do, But when you do that, don't put them back in the refrigerator. Don't put them back in the refrigerator. Leave them on the counter, cover them with a little plastic or something, but don't put them back in the fridge. It's going to ruin the whole thing, Alrighty, so what we're going to do is add a little Earl. The figures, I got the pan too hot. Doggone it. All my quacking over here. And you can always add a little bit of oil at the end. You can always put a little more in. Put our garlic in there. Yeah, we don't want to...
Hear that sizzle.
Yeah, this is a definite garlic lover's
What a
roasted potato.
Flavor blast. Wow.
Right, right.
I get that aroma immediately.
Small over here, there.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's good. But the key is to get it that, you know, that nice light golden brown. That's where it's all going to happen, right? And, you know, it's delicious. Do you like eating brown, crisp garlic
Oh,
like that?
love it.
Yeah, I just
Love
think
it.
it's terrific. I know a few of my friends...
Well, there's 3. I don't know. Does Tim like garlic that way? Yes, he's saying yes.
Greg definitely likes it. There's not a problem there. I like everything you cook me for lunch, Dan.
Hope you've been taking care of Janet's father a little bit here. Oh, man, come on.
Food from him.
You can't leave John hanging. What the heck?
I'm a grown boy. I gotta eat.
Yeah, with this amount of potatoes and this amount of oil, I'm willing to bet we'd squirt a little bit more in. And I guess while they're browning up, I can add a few ingredients. I'm going to add a little granulated garlic, believe it or not.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little white pepper and some salt. So like I said, when I'm adding this white pepper and salt, what I should have been doing then is heating these in a radar. Put it out in the bowl or dump them in the bowl then and get ready to start stirring these ingredients in. I could add some, I mean, you could add some basil leaves to it if you want. I could add some parsley to let these flavors just stand alone. Uh-oh. All right. They're getting nice and light browned. I don't think we
Yeah,
should put
looks
these
good.
back on
No?
again, you know, because these can burn before our very eyes. It's got that great smell
That's
coming out of it,
beautiful.
you know.
Oh, that aroma is heavenly.
Right.
That is great.
Just a little more here. A little more. Just letting it come together.
And
Potatoes
they're
are
still
not
browning.
right. They're still browning, but the potatoes supposedly are smoking hot. You know, you don't have to get crazy over this.
Okay.
Nutsoid. All right. So we're just going to add this to the top. Like I said, I would have more garlic than that even, because I want a chunk of garlic, and it's like bananas and cereal. You know, I want the little banana in every bite. So let's see what we have here. We'll stir it up a little bit. There's plenty of oil, and actually there's probably plenty of garlic too. You always want to use a larger bowl when you're tossing this stuff around. Then you have a serving bowl, and whatever you're taking off, your roast, chicken, shrimp, whatever the heck you're doing, and you put it in the bowl and you garnish it. So before we take it off, I do have some scallion here. What do you think, scallion or parsley?
Oh, let's do parsley.
Go parsley?
Oh, go parsley.
Okay. Parsley's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to flip the parsley around here, and I guess I'll just use a plate. Little platter to put them on.
Yeah, that looks great.
But this is great. You have this done ahead of time, and get some of these garlic pieces up top. Make our little mountain here. Guess I could put a little bow on top, right?
Oh, fantastic.
But there we go. We have some roasted
That's it.
potatoes with sliced garlic and olive oil.
Now, I notice we have some clams, which this is the season for these
Yes,
things.
these are little clammies. These are
Well, this shelf.
large little necks or small top necks. Cherry stones or
what's
two
the difference
kalami.
there, Dan?
I just like this one size here. I don't like
Okay.
them too small. I mean, there's nothing there, and just what I like.
They get the little small ones for Christmas dinners.
Yeah, right. When you have to please everybody. But
That's right.
what we were going to make was a zuppa de clams.
Okay.
This is just such a great dish, I'm telling
Yeah.
you. And we do start a few of our dishes this way. I think the clams is an afterthought. We start a few seafood dishes this way, a clam sauce, and we've often said our marinara is a neutral sauce, much in the way that we make a demi-glace and a this vin blanc that we make.
Yes.
We do make all our sauces in stocks.
I love you for that.
But it's neutral in the sense that we do have salt and pepper in it and all. We do accent it a little bit, but what we do is it can get moved in a number of different directions, and we seldom get an opportunity to show you how we maybe give the tomato sauce a different tang to it, you know, a different look. It's still going to be, boy, I'm telling you folks.
It is hot in here.
Couldn't be the beer, huh? All right, but what we do start it with is this pureed garlic here.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna add that much. And I took some celery and onion, and this is really terrific.
What that was.
We pureed this up about 50-50.
Wow.
It's got a nice smell to it.
Ooh, nice.
And we put a little more of this than we really, you know, that's about it, I guess. I'm gonna add a little butter, a little sweet butter. And I'm going to add some Earl. Not going to add an olive oil. I don't think I need it. The butter's happening there, so we're just going to add a little light oil. So we're going to turn on our little panny-wanny. And we can serve this, one of the keys to this dish is the sauce. The, you know, when the clams open up and they release all their juices and stuff like that, it comes out into the sauce, and having this celery and onion and garlic base to it. We add a little white wine. We'll show you the ingredients. You can have this by itself with like a loaf of bread, you know, and put it out there and everybody can get crazy. Or you can put it over a pasta, and I think we're going to do it over pasta today. I'll get to that pasta dish with the butter. This looks like it's moved along pretty well.
It does.
So I'll put a few of these clams in here.
Now, do you need to cover that with the top always, or?
Well, I think it helps because I feel like you want this dish to, you don't want to rush it, but you don't want this, you know, as soon as the clams are open, it's ready. I guess what I will do, though, is put a little linguine in and get that ready. I cooked a little linguine off. That's the way I like to do it. Have it sitting here and put it back in a nice, fresh, rolling, salty washer. We'll put that in there. Guess we can add a little bit more.
And that's always good to do ahead of time. That way it's in the water for a minimal period of time. Put it back out and drain it.
Right, get into nice rolling water. Now this is going to drain and hang there, and by the time we get to it, it should be in great shape. All right, you can see some of that garlic's browning up just a little there.
Right.
That's where we want to get it to. And what we're going to add is some white wine. Be careful, folks, about putting any of these wines or vodkas or brandies too near a flame. In fact, don't put them near a flame. What I should have done there was pulled that away and added that. That's, you know, it's just a death wish that I have. All right, what we're going to add now is our marinara sauce. That's all it is, the basic marinara. Boy, thank goodness for these plastic buckets. I don't know what I would do without them. I mean it, they're the greatest. So it's primarily a red sauce, but you know, you can see that base that we have to it. See if I can get some of these nice chunks in there.
Fabulous.
I'm going to add, and you can do whatever you'd like with this. I'm just going to add, it's not a Fra Diavolo sauce. I'm going to add a little bit of
make it hot.
ground pepper seeds there. Just a little kick. You can always add a little more if you'd like. Going to add some parsley. And I'll put a little salt and pepper. Alrighty, I'm just going to stir the tomatoes in. I have it on a high flame right now. And I want to check how, see how that is. To me, that dish is right where I want it when it finishes.
Okay.
You know, and I could add a little clam juice, but you know, I don't want to get it too clammed out. You know, the clams will do good enough, but I have a little water here.
I'd
like to loosen this with a little water. All right, now away we go. All right, so what we're going to do here is more times than not, you see a cream dish that's got some butter into it. This is going to be a butter dish that's stabilized with some cream at the beginning. A little more Frenchy, but we're, you know, it's a combination of ingredients. So what we're going to do is add some garlic to this, and you know, you can work this with shallot. You can do whatever you'd like. What else am I going to add? I'm going to add some white wine.
Okay.
A decent amount of garlic and white wine because they're the base flavors for this dish. Then I've got some cream here. The reason we've got the cream is that we don't want the butter to break. So we're going to stabilize the dish with this cream.
And that's all added before you put it on the flame.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is usually not how you see a lot of sauces.
No, no. See how the zuppa de clams is doing. See, they're rapidly moving, but they're not really torqued up. It's just kind of coming along nice and evenly. Well, but I'll tell you, that celery and onion, ooh, baby, nice flavor.
And now what should this cream sauce look like when we know it's starting to get to the point where it's looking good?
I'm just going to marry the garlic and the wine together and the cream. We're just going to thicken it up a little bit and then start whisking the butter in. That's why you need a decent amount of garlic and wine in there.
Okay.
We were going to have do this dish with a little penne, and I guess I can get that penne in right now. Put that in the water.
And now I notice you've got a little bubble around the edges of that sauce.
Right, we're definitely going to bring this to a rapid boil and then turn it down. You got to watch it with the with the butter. You don't want it, really coming to a violent boil. We're going to add mushrooms and peas to this dish.
Oh.
The peas I don't have to worry about, but I think I'm going to add the mushrooms in right now. Sliced mushrooms.
Of course, the mushrooms have a high water content, so it won't take
Right.
them long to
Right, this will
really get done.
happen quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How's our little zuppa? The clams are starting to pop.
Yep, they're starting to pop.
And boy, when they pop, you want to get it off. These things can turn into rubber basketballs before your very eyes, I'll tell you. You're picking them out of your teeth for 2 weeks. Call the dentist. All right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we'll break these mushrooms down a little bit while we're reducing that cream, garlic, and white wine mixture. No, I'll give it a...
And will that be reduced to about half or not quite?
more than half.
More than half. Wow. Okay.
The cream's just there to stabilize the butter. We're looking at this as a butter sauce. All right. Turn that off. I love doing that, turning things off. Like we had a little eye round on the grill last night at home and did that indirect heating where the middle burner was off on your gas grill, and I just put it up on the top shelf and just turn the grill off. Just let the heat pass through a little bit. I just like babying things like this at the end. Seems like I don't know. It just seems like it's not finished as violently. Sometimes you get like a roast or something that's purple in the center, because
Yes.
right, you try to finish it right there. But I like to have them rest. That's resting. I like to rest in it on a grill or an oven that's off. I think it does wonders for some of this food. All right, I'll get the linguine to the plate, and then maybe the clams will be open by then. Okay. Whoa. See how this is sticking together like this? If you have enough sauce and things are right, this is no problem for me. I like it. It's not watery. That's the main thing.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. It's all steamed. It's still al dente. I got one piece that's stuck together there, but you get the picture. All right, let's check the clams out. This is right where we want it now. We're getting some big bubbles there. Everything looks like it's tight. Clams will need another second or two. So what we're going to start doing is whisking our butter in, or stirring our butter in.
Okay.
Guess I'll bring that over now. Don't get grossed out, folks, but this is a butter dish. This is what's going to happen. So all we're putting in, tossing with butter, finishing it with a little Parmesan.
Wow, oh, you got to do that once in a while, though, Dan. You really have to. That's great.
I'll go get I could use our fork, I guess.
Creamy and dreamy.
Creamy and
I don't
creamy.
need those stinking diets.
Add a few peas to it.
Dan knows what I like.
That looks great.
And we're going to bubble this along. We got to be very careful. See that this butter would be broken right now if it wasn't for that cream. And you see all this butter going into here. You need a lot of garlic and white wine to make this happen right. All right, the clams look like about there. We won't even use them all. All right. Move our garlic. I'll go get a pair of tweezers.
Tweezers? What are the tweezers for, Dan?
All right, I don't think we're going to
there
use
they are.
all the clams or all the sauce for this dish, but we'll give you enough to give you the picture. Let's see how nice sized these clams are.
Yeah, they are nice.
They're not huge, they're not gargantuan. Two of them haven't opened. I'll just leave them up. Here comes one, pulling up the rear.
There you go.
Oops, lost a shell. I guess I didn't need as much of that water. Oh no, I almost forgot about this dish. Please don't break, please don't break. All right, now I'm going to spoon the tomatoes on.
Oh, great.
It's a little more watery. I didn't really need to add that water though, okay? Well, this is a great dunking sauce, let me tell you folks. And I'll just garnish it with a little parsley. And there we have a little zuppa de clams over linguine.
Beautiful. And I love the golden color that this has produced, too.
Right.
That it's raw.
I almost lost it, but
Beautiful.
we had enough cream in it, I guess, that it stayed semi-stable. I guess what I'll do is get the pasta to the plate. Of course, use any type you like. I'm using a little penne. Notice there's no water on it. This is piping hot and no water. Water kills all our little sauces. And what we're going to do with this penne is I'm going to add a little white pepper and salt.
And penne is a good choice, too. You get the sauce kind of oozing in and out of the noodle.
Yeah.
Getting caught in all those little grooves.
I'm going to add a little Parmesan to it.
Oh,
In fact, a lot of
great.
Parmesan. And that sauce thickened up. It was a little bit loose right there.
Oh, that aroma is just,
It's a good aroma, right?
love it.
This is our low-cal special. Our low-cal, low-cholesterol special. I'll put a few more peas on, I guess. I would have normally added a few more mushrooms. Why I didn't do that, I have no idea. And I think we're going to go with a little paprika-type garnish, a little red to contrast.
Great.
Drip on your nose, sweat.
Yes, it's hot, folks. Very hot. But there we
You
go.
did it.
We did it. Well, folks, thanks for joining us for another great evening in the dining room after Dan and I got finished cooking. And if you want to go over the dishes, Dan, you know what? I'm ready to try this garlic, though.
Yeah.
Because
It's good.
it is good. It's nice and crispy.
Yeah. Get the potatoes nice and brown. That's a good thing. Remember, they're bee potatoes, not the big glomerinos. But that's what we did. We browned the potatoes off ahead of time. My suggestion is don't put them in the fridge. Bake them off ahead and flip them in the radar for 2 seconds. It's good. We did our baby peas and mushrooms in the garlic white wine butter sauce, stabilized with a little cream, finished with that Parmesan cheese. It's a really nice dish.
That's the crew's favorite. What did you say, decadence?
Yes.
This looks really sinful. Tim, what did you call this dish?
But then we have our zuppa de clams over linguine. It's just a great dish. I can't say enough about the different accent that the sauce was given with the celery and onion and the clam juice and stuff. It's just a great dish over linguine.
Well, thanks, Dan. Thanks, folks, for joining us this evening on Cooking with Dan Leslie. We'll see you again next week.